All right, guys, thank you so much for coming to College Application Crash Course Fall 2022 session. I'm really excited to have you guys come back to school this fall. Well, of course, everyone will all be in person. And so this is part 2 of a 3-part series of our College Application Crash Course. So we had the first part of our series back in May. And that basically was a session to kind of talk to you guys about what to do to get ready for the summer and what you should be working on through the summer, okay? And so if you did miss that session, it was recorded. And so I'll make sure that you guys get access to the recording. This session today will be recorded today. We're going to talk about the application process to let you guys know what you should be doing between now and the end of the year, but most of the conversation is going to be about what we're doing between now and December, because that's the heaviest part of the college application process. And then tomorrow night, we're going to talk about the money. So tomorrow we're going to talk about financial aid. However, when we do get to the question and answers at the end, if you do have some financial aid questions or anything, you can ask them at that time. All right. So before we get started, can you guys give me some chat action to make sure that the chat is working? Tell me who's here today. And if you go drop it in the general chat line, don't just send it to me. Let me know if you are a parent, a student, and what grade you're representing, because we already have your names on the boxes. So let's go. Let's drop them in the chat and let's see who's here today, because that'll kind of guide my conversation. All right. So you're going to put in there if you are a parent, student, or both, if you're both here, and what grade you are in the chat. And if this is your first time on Zoom, the chat button is at the bottom of the screen. It says chat. You're going to open that up and then you type in that box. Okay. All right, so we got a lot of chat action going on right now. So we have a mom in 12th grade, a parent, the daughter of a senior with a small frowny face. I understand, honey. That's why we're on here now. We have a parent and a student, 12th grade, a student, 12th grade, a student that's a senior, a parent and the son that would be a senior. Ooh, senior next year or this year. And then we have a student that's in the 12th grade and a student that's in the 12th grade. All right. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. Son is entering as a junior and a senior. Wow. Okay. So you have a little double time going on. All right. All right. So thank you for putting that in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to go ahead in here and get this started. All right, so let me know if you guys can see my screen. So drop in the chat if you can see my screen, and you can also see me on the side. Can you guys do that for me? And it can just be one person that drops it in the chat. All right, cool. All right, so tonight we are here for part 2, the NAHS, even though there's too many commas in here, I'll take that out. I see that every year. The NAHS process, college fit, and some random things. All right, to get you guys ready. Okay, so, and I forgot to update this as well, but that's okay. So if you guys need to get in contact with me this year or any year, this is my email address, my Instagram account. So for those of you who are on Instagram, you guys know that I'm on Instagram regularly to give you guys information in addition to what may be emailed, because I don't want to email you every day. And then here's a Schoology account. So there may be some other random things that I don't want to clog up your email with, and I will drop them in your Schoology account. So please make sure that you take a screenshot of these codes. If they're not right, then let me know and I'll email you guys the right codes. And probably I'm going to send you guys an email next week anyway, and I'll put them in there. So for you parents who don't know what Schoology is, students use Schoology for their classwork. They keep up with the assignments there. But also we can, the adults can use that to disseminate information. So I use it a lot to give you guys information. I have a YouTube channel, so any workshops that we have that are recorded are always loaded on the YouTube channel. All right. All right. Now, This is breaking news because nobody has access to this information but you guys today. These are the assignments for your counselors for this year. So all of our counselors are here this year. We're starting with everyone. And so these are the grade assignments, and they're pretty similar to what they were last year. But some numbers or alphabets may shift because they wanted to make sure that everybody has the same amount of students. All right. So you guys are going to get this in a handbook. You're also going to get this somewhere in your email. But of course, if you want to take a picture of this, go ahead and knock yourself out and take a picture of that as well. Okay. So that's how you're going to be broken down. And also, you can see which assistant principal is over what grade. So Mr. Troutman has grade 11 and Ms. Van Buskirk has grade 12. And then there's a senior survey that I want you guys to fill out at some point, not right now because it's a little long. And this is optional, but this is going to give me some information to kind of help work with you guys as I see you over the year. Okay. So if you can take some time and fill out the survey, you may say some of these questions are weird or some of these questions are a little bit intrusive, especially the things about finances. But I'm asking those questions for a reason so that I can kind of help you guys get your financial aid situation settled out. And if you guys can hold on 1 second, because I need to get a cough drop. All right, so hold on 1 second. All right, I usually have them. I did not have them today. Let me let all these people into the room. Hold on. Okay. All right, now we're back. Okay. So I want to talk to you guys very quickly about some upcoming events. You don't need to write all of these things down because I'm going to give you guys access to our college and career website, and all of this information is there. Okay. So on Monday, September the 20th, that's when our college visits begin, meaning that we have a number of colleges that will be coming to visit our school. And so we typically have about maybe about 60 or 70 colleges that come and visit our school every fall. So they'll come down to the College and Career Center. This year I have them scheduled on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, but some random ones will be also on a Monday. So they will take place period 1, 2, and 4. And if you happen to be at the tech school, or if you happen to be absent that day for whatever reason in your home, just let me know. And we'll also put you guys on the Google Meet and you can watch the visit from the College and Career Office, okay? So just take a quick second, look at these dates. And I see that there's a question in the chat. Sorry about that, guys. I haven't coughed since school ended. Okay, so most of these college fairs are regional college fairs with pretty much predominantly Pennsylvania colleges. And so you can arrange your own transportation and do some registration. So again, I'm going to give you guys the link to all of this information, but I want you to pay close attention to the events that are in red. So back by popular demand, most of you don't know this because you're just too young to know. Even if you're a senior, this may have happened when you were a freshman, but you guys weren't allowed to go. We always have an annual college and career fair. So of course we didn't have it the last 2 years because of COVID, but we are having it this year. So it's going to be on Friday, October the 7th. It's going to be during the school day from 8:30 to 11, and it is open to juniors and seniors. So every junior and senior will be coming to the fair. If you are an AM Tech student, when you guys come back from Tech, or if you are a Roosevelt student, you guys will come to either the second or third rotation. So we will make sure that you guys are participating in the fair. You also see here that and we're going to have over 100 or at least 100 colleges and local businesses to accommodate the needs of everyone. Some people are going to a 4-year college, some are going to a 2-year college, some people are working right after school. So we're also trying to get some businesses that offer benefits and things like that to come. All right. And then we have the Montgomery County Regional College Fair, which is going to be on Tuesday, October the 11th. I highly recommend that you go to that, because just because we have colleges at our fair, it doesn't mean that the same colleges will be at that same fair. So I would suggest that you do that. Okay. So here you see the rest of them. Now, this other one in red, the Philadelphia National College Fair. That's a big college fair that happens at the Convention Center downtown in Philadelphia on Sunday, October the 30th. There are usually about 300 or 400 colleges at this event, and thousands of people attend. So we'll be at the Convention Center. You don't have to drive. You can literally get on the regional rail, and the regional rail stops right at the Convention Center. You don't even have to go outside. All right. So you guys will get information about all of these fairs that are coming up in your email, and I'll also give you guys the link. Then we also have what's called instant decision days. These are events where colleges come to our school and they do interviews on the spot. So you'll start getting some information at the end of September, beginning of October, to let you know which colleges are coming, and you can sign up for those events. Now, every school does not have instant decision days, so we are one of the privileged few. So usually we have about 12 to 18 colleges that come. And then the last three things here, we have financial aid night that's going to be coming up on Tuesday, October the 11th. That will be virtual from 6 to 8. And there will be an English session and a Spanish session, 2 separate sessions, okay? And then we have a financial aid completion night that will be in person at the school to help you fill out your financial aid application. And then Tuesday, December the 21st, we have something called Campus Connections, where we have seniors that graduated last year. They come back and share their college experience. It's a pretty fun event. And so that will happen during the school day during period 4, okay? All right, so what I want everybody to do before we get started, I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to pause, because I know that a lot of you are stressed. A lot of you are anxious about this application process, understandably so, because there are so many moving parts. However, the college, the guidance office has been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time, and we will help you guys and get you to the finish line. We promise you won't be going to the University of Kentucky Fried Chicken, okay? We promise you that. All right, so don't worry about anything. So I'm not going to say that there's not going to be any stress or anxiety, because there will, just because it is what it is. But again, just take a deep breath. All right, okay. So this is what we're going to learn tonight. We're going to talk about some timelines for applications and financial aid, building a strong college list, becoming a standout candidate with college admissions officers, and increasing your chances of receiving scholarships and other financial aid. So we'll talk about increasing those odds, but again, we're going to talk about the actual mechanics of the money tomorrow night, okay? So what I want is some chat action right now, some chat action. So if you guys can drop in the chat for me, and in one word, describe your feelings about the upcoming year. One word. And I know somebody's going to violate the one word rule, but one word. Drop that in the chat for me. Okay, so somebody said chill. That's good. I'm surprised at that. Emotional, nervous. So one word, describe your feelings, whether students and or parents. Stressed. Anyone else? One word, one word. Exciting. Okay. One more, two more. Okay. Maybe they're not feeling anything. But you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head. Exciting, stressed, nervous, and Miss Chill over there. We have to talk to Miss Chill on the side to figure out what's going on with that, how that happened. I want some of that. And apprehensive. All right. So from me to you, college planning will not break our souls, all right? Will not break our souls. Everything is going to be all right. All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is Naviance. You may hear it called Naviance. I think the correct pronunciation is Naviance, but we've been calling it Naviance for so long, but it's really Naviance. So we use Naviance to communicate with you guys in regards to the college application process. And so how you're going to access Naviance if you've never used it before, and also the link that I'm going to give you guys tonight will also have a tutorial on how to kind of maneuver through Naviance and check it out, okay? But in Naviance, you're going to build a college list in there. And so we can see, the counselors can see your college list, see what colleges you intend to apply to. You can request letters of recommendations from your teachers. You can request a transcript, and you can do all sorts of other stuff in there too. But what we do is after we get the information that you have dropped in there, then we send your transcripts from there, and then make sure that your teachers load their letters of recommendations in there as well. And you can also connect the common application to Naviance, but we'll get to the common application in a second, okay? So when you go to Naviance, this is what the screen is going to look like. And every year they do some type of an upgrade. So the color may be different this year. It could be teal, it could be red, who knows? But the interface pretty much looks like this. So when you go in here, you'll see here that there's a home button, that there's a colleges button. That's the main button that you're going to use to put information in there. Okay. Now, when you're on the very first screen for Naviance, if you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, any colleges that are coming to visit, you can literally scroll down and see who's coming. And so this is how you sign up for college rep visits. Now, there are about 15 or 20 schools in there right now, but you want to make sure that you check it every week, because every day I get notifications that somebody is going in. Okay. And so when you go in here, on the side, it'll say more info. And then when you click the more info button, then you'll be able to get some more information about those colleges. Now, there are going to be a lot of colleges on this list that you have never, ever heard of, right? And so when you go in there, and I'm sorry I can't dig in here now, but I'm on my personal computer and it won't let me pull up Naviance. If I go on my school computer, then it gets weird with recording Zoom, okay? But in the tutorial I'm going to send you, it shows you all the buttons that you need to click for that. And so when you go into more information, it'll give you some information, some basic information about the school as far as how many students are there, SAT requirements. And then if you want to learn more, you can dig in and read some more information to see if that school is for you. Okay. And then if you are interested, you just click register and that's it. It signs you up. And then I'll go in once a week, see who signed up for things, and add you guys to a Google calendar invite, just like you received for today. So that's how you'll find out about the meeting, and then you'll get a pass the morning of the event. And I also usually will send you a reminder the day before. So it's pretty simple. Okay. And so as we're going, does anyone have any questions? Remember, you can just drop them in the chat. So before I move on, does anyone have any questions so far? And remember, for the beginning of our presentation, you can drop them in the chat. And then when we go to questions and answers, you can unmute yourself. Okay. All right. So I'll keep going. If I see a question, I'll stop. All right. So now we're going to get into the college application process, the core of that. So at Norristown Area High School, we do have a process that you go through to get your things done. I see that there's a question here, so let me see that question. Okay. Oh, also, if you are Spanish speaking, or if you have a parent or guardian that is Spanish speaking, you can go into the chat and look for the drop down that says Miss Maria Salazar, and you can ask her any questions that you have, and she'll answer your question. And if it's something that I need to answer, she'll just ask me to hold on for a second, and she'll ask me the question, and then we'll go back and forth. So you won't have to wait until the very end for that. Okay. All right. So for the NAHS process, your school counselor will be your primary contact to sending off any applications. Everybody thinks that since I'm the college and career counselor, they're supposed to see me, but it's like 400 or 500 of y'all, right? So I can't see every single person to get them started. So your counselor is going to be your primary contact. And so what's going to happen is after scheduling happens, then your counselor usually meets with their seniors in small groups to talk to them about the college application process. Okay, then after that group meeting, the counselor will set up individual appointments with the students. Okay, the counselor will also upload transcripts and letters to Naviance and for the common application. So I just want to give you guys a heads up that transcripts are generally loaded into Naviance during the 3rd week of school. So we won't be able to give you a transcript until then. And it's not that we seek to torture you or we're just trying to drag things out, but on your transcript, colleges want to see what your senior roster is. And we can't put your senior roster on until we know that all the schedules are pretty much done. And then once the 3rd week rolls around and we see that everything is kind of trickled down, then we'll run a big report and upload those transcripts into Naviance. Okay, so you're not going to be behind, you're not going to be late. I know you're getting all kinds of emails that colleges are open, but they're just opening early because 5 years ago they didn't start really doing applications until September, October as far as opening. The common application would open earlier, but everybody else would open up around September, so you're going to be okay. All right, then your counselor will also assist with your other needs, such as registering for the SAT, ACT, maybe some light review of essays, putting together your college list, and assist the students with contacting colleges for random issues. So what I am going to do for you guys starting this year, because 3 weeks is a long time for you to have to wait to talk to your counselor if you're that student that's ready to go now. So on the link, the big link that I keep promising that I'm going to send you guys, there's a link on there that is called, in fact, let me just go ahead and give you that link. Hold on one second. Thought I had this one open, so I apologize, guys. All right, let me go ahead and give you this link right now. All right, so let me go ahead and share this link with you guys. I'll go ahead and put this in the chat for you right now, and then I'll explain to you what is on this link. Okay. Okay, so the link that I just gave you guys in the chat is to my link tree. So anytime that there's some event that you have to sign up for, most of you guys are familiar with this link. So that pre-survey that I told you about at the beginning that I need you guys to fill out, but it's totally voluntary, is right here. College planning information sessions for seniors. So for those of you who are kind of ready to move right now and you can't wait for 3 weeks, I'll see you guys in small groups. So this link right here, you can just sign up, and it accommodates 15 people per spot. Of course, I don't anticipate more than 2 or 3 or 1 at a time. but you guys can sign up starting on September 1st. And I can sit with you guys and give you the whole in Norristown process and then answer every question that you have at that time. And there'll be some time after the meeting. So it's not like, if we run out of time, I can't talk to you. All right. I want to make sure that we accommodate people. So that's what's on that part there. Okay. And then also the college fairs that I told you about are here on this link. My website is here. How to make an appointment with me is here, and some other stuff. Okay, so everyone else will get that shared with them via email. So I just sent that to you guys now. Okay. All right, so let me get back in here. Back to the presentation. All right. So my role in the college planning process for you guys, I'm organizing college recruiters. So all of the recruiters that are coming in to meet with you guys, I'm organizing and setting those things up, organizing some campus tours. So my plan is to do about 4 to 6, 7 campus tours this year. If you are a junior here, you guys are in the Gear Up program, and so they're going to also have their own separate college tours for you. So I'll give you some information about that. I'll do the college fair. I also upload transcripts and letters into Naviance. If for some reason your counselor is out, I'll make sure that that gets done. I'll assist you with getting ready for the ACT, SAT, helping you with essays. Of course, you're going to go to your English teachers because I love commas too much and I want to make sure that it's done correctly. And I'm assisting students, and you guys can read here. Financial aid applications, that's one of the main things that I do is help you guys do your FAFSA application. And also when it's time for you guys to kind of start processing and looking to see which college is giving you the best deal, I definitely will sit down with you and go over every single letter that you have to make sure that we see what is a good deal and what's not a good deal. Okay. And I communicate a lot of information. So of course, I know pretty much all of you guys. So once we get rolling, you guys know that sometimes I'll have some open hours that I just let anybody come in, sit down and work on your stuff. So we'll be okay. All right. So I see something that's in the chat here. Are the SAT and the ACT required? No, they are not. So I do have a slide that's going to address that, but I'll go ahead and answer that question now. So about 60 to 65% of colleges are still test optional. And so what that means is that most of them still do not require that you take an SAT or an ACT. However, I recommend that you still take it anyway because you don't know what your score is going to be. So if you are that person that does not test well, there's no pressure. Just try to do your best. Okay. There's also some free test prep on the SAT website, on the ACT website that you can do. Some of you guys may have hired someone to do some test prep with you. But do not send your scores to any of the colleges when you fill out the form when you take your test. And I think they may have changed that process. You want to wait until you get your score back, see what your score is, and make sure every college has an average SAT score, ACT score that they're looking for. And they usually give you a range. So you want to make sure that your score is on the top of that range before you send it. So as you guys sit with me in the small groups, because I don't have a lot of time to do it now, I'll show you how to find that information, or you can just shoot me an email and I can check, but I can show you how to find that information. But you want to make sure that your SAT score meets on that high end of the spectrum, okay? Because that could also mean, even though they don't require test scores, it can increase the chances of you being accepted. And in some cases, it can affect money that you receive. Some colleges may not require the test score to get into the school, but in order for you to get what's called a merit scholarship that is based off of your grades, test scores, extracurricular activities, and some other items, they may want your scores. Some schools don't require your score for that either, but if you give it to them, you may get more money. Okay, so basically, you should still take it. Okay. So let me know in the chat if I answered your question fully. If not, I can go into some more detail. All right. On this screen, these are the group appointments that I just showed you guys on the screen. So you already have that. All right. So the role of the student and the parent. All right, here's another question. Who should we go to for help knowing which schools are within target ranges and which are really reach schools? Doing test optional only. That's a great question. So with your target ranges, there's a college website that you guys can use. It's called College Navigator. So I'm going to send you that information, College Navigator. And so when you go in there, you can pull up some information and it'll give you some digits with your SAT scores and averages to make sure that it is a reach or a target school. But for those strategic things, definitely you want to meet with me and I'll help you guys with those things. No problem. Okay. Now for the student and the parent, and Emma, let me know if I answered your question fully. Okay. I highly recommend that you guys create a joint email address. Do not use your school address. You can, but remember, you're going to be contacting, you're going to be in contact with these colleges after graduation, financial aid after graduation. You want to make sure that you still have access to that email. Also, parents and students can kind of share that email address, and then that way people won't forget things. Now, if y'all gonna fight about it, y'all gonna have a bunch of drama. I don't want mom in my business. She's all in my stuff. Or parents are like, oh, I'm gonna be in here because she's gonna forget to do everything. You guys can decide how it's gonna work, but just don't use a school email address for that, okay? But you can. All right. You want to contact your teachers for recommendations and allow them 2 to 3 weeks. Please don't ask your teacher for a letter on a Thursday that you need Friday. Because number one, you're probably not going to get it. If you do get it, it's going to say something like this. Jane is a nice young lady. She comes to my class every day and she asks great questions. She'll do great at your university. Sincerely, Mrs. Jones. That's not a great letter because they didn't have much time. All right. So you want to make sure that they get at least 2 to 3 weeks, and then your teachers will load those letters into Naviance for them to be sent. So what you want to do, ask them 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, and then give them a date. It doesn't have to be your real date. Okay. And then a week before, you can send them a reminder because they're very busy. They may have forgotten. If you are having any problems getting a letter from anybody and your time is near and you don't feel like approaching people saying, hey, you better give me my letter, right? Don't do that. You can just email your counselor or email us, and we know how to finesse to get that letter for you. No big deal. So just let us know that you're having a hard time and we'll get that for you. Okay. You guys want to make sure that you keep your counselors updated with what you're doing, because even though you're putting things in Naviance, it doesn't give us an alert every time you put something in there. It kind of gives us like a group alert, and sometimes your name might not be attached to it. So we have to consciously go in there and look sometimes. So you want to make sure that you also remind us, hey, my such and such is due on such and such a day, but we're not going to remind you that it's due because again, it's like 400 or 500 of you guys. So you guys have to make sure that you just let us know and just keep us posted with what you're doing. Okay. And you guys can kind of take a picture of the rest of this because some of this is going to be in the rest of the presentation. All right. I want to make sure I get to everything. All right. So does anybody have any questions so far? I want to make sure I don't move too fast. You can drop that in the chat. So I'll keep going, but as soon as I see a question, I will stop. All right. So the next 2 screens, even though I have all those screens, the next 2 screens, if you just follow us on the next 2 screens, you'll be fine. Okay. You want to make sure that you compile a list of 6 to 12 schools that you want to apply to. Okay. Some of you might not want to apply to 6, but please have more than 3. And the reason why you want to have more than 3 is because you don't know, one, if you're going to get accepted to the school. And number 2, if you do get accepted, the financial aid package might not be good. Or as we say, it might be trash. Okay. So you want to make sure you have some options. It's just like if you're getting ready for the prom or homecoming. We don't go to the mall and just pick one outfit. We go everywhere. We tear King of Prussia up. We're online looking at stuff. We're at all the stores looking at stuff. We might have a couple of things that the lady has pulled to the side and hold for us for 24 hours. Then we go back and we finally pick something. But we're looking around, because even though that dress looks nice on the rack, sometimes when we put it on, it's not a good look. So that's the same way that you want to approach your applications. And so preferably by September, you should kind of have your list narrowed down. Even if you don't have it to 6 to 12, at least have your top 3 choices, your clear choices, okay? You want to schedule your final ACTs and SATs. You don't want to take any of them past November. You really want to make the last one that you take in October, but sometimes you have to do it in November for for different reasons. You don't want to take a test back to back, meaning you don't want to take the SAT in August and then take it again in September, because I believe this year there's only like a 1 or 2 week difference between August and September. You don't want to take the test in September and then take it in October, because you don't have time to process your score report back, okay? So do that. You want to make sure that you do in-person and virtual campus tours. So some of the schools that you're interested in are far away, and you might not be able to afford to go and visit that particular school. So you want to do as many virtual campus tours, sit on some of the information sessions that they have so that you can get a feel for the campus. Maybe go on YouTube, go on Instagram, go on TikTok, and kind of catch what the vibe of the school is. If you're going to a school that's a highly selective school, meaning that the school has maybe a 15% or 30% acceptance rate, some of them have what's called a fly-in program, where you fill out an application and they'll actually send you a ticket and put you up in a dorm for a day or two. Sometimes they may also put a ticket in there for a parent. So that's something that you want to look into. But you definitely want to go and visit, because a lot of students have their list. They may get accepted to every school that they've applied to, but you want to see what the vibe is, because just because other people tell you that Penn State, that Harvard, that Arcadia is a great school, it might not be the spot for you. So you want to see what that vibe is when you go on campus, okay? So regardless of what the deadlines are, the deadline that we try to give you guys is Thanksgiving. Try to have all of your applications done by Thanksgiving. Specifically, if you are going to apply to Penn State. And to be honest, for Penn State main campus, November 1st is their priority deadline. And last year, they maxed out in November. And a lot of people did not get into main campus because they applied for whatever reason. They were the hot school last year. I mean, they're always a hot school, but they were the hot school last year. Now, remember though, if you don't get into main campus, they have like 18, 19 satellite campuses. Close to us, we have Abington campus, and I believe the other one is Brandywine campus, maybe Schuylkill campus. And so those are some options. But Thanksgiving, that's what you want to do. So you should be working on applications right now. So you can go to the school website and fill out the application, or you can do the common application, which is what the majority of students do. So with the common application, you're going to fill out the application one time, and then there are now 1,000 colleges that are connected to the Common App. So what you want to do is go to the search bar on the Common App and type in the names of your top choices. And if at least 2 or 3 pop up, then you want to do that application. That application is fairly long. So you want to go ahead and start. If you have not opened it, you're still okay. But go in there this weekend and start doing little bits at a time, because there's a lot of information that you have to fill out. Okay. And this is not in my slides anywhere. And I want to make sure if you take notes, or if you put this in your phone, make sure that you note this right here. When you get to the section for your extracurricular activities on any application, some of you don't have a lot of extra curricular activities because you either have to work or you have to babysit and pick up your siblings from school, or pick up your cousins and you have to babysit after school. That is now considered an extracurricular activity, because students have been penalized because they haven't been doing activities, but because they have responsibilities. What are you going to tell your mom? I'm not picking him up from school because I need to play basketball, or I need to go to the chess club so that I can do this on my application. You know you're going to get locked out of your house, right? For being smart, right? So now they allow you to put that information on there. So start thinking about documenting what you've been doing. Some of you guys have to translate for your parents when you go to the electric company or the water company or to the landlords or wherever else that you have to go to conduct some business. Do you know you can put that down as an extracurricular activity as well? So make sure that you start kind of documenting and looking through some things, okay? So my son said he doesn't know what the Common App is. How do we find it? So the Common App is on another screen. So I'll get to that screen at the end, okay? And the link is there. But with that Common App, you can put up to 20 schools on there. Of course, we're not applying to 20 schools because that's too much. Because remember, when you start applying to those schools, you have to keep up with each of them, okay? So when you guys meet with me in the small groups or meet with your counselors, we'll go into more detail about the Common App, but that's the main application that you're going to be using. And also, when you go on the Common App, the Common App has 7 essay prompts that you need to do. That you need not to do all 7 essays, but every school on the list will have those 7 prompts, and sometimes they will suggest certain ones that they want you to choose. But lately I've been looking in there and it looks like most of the schools are allowing you to choose the prompt that you want to do. And prompt is just a fancy word for essay. Okay, so that's the other reason why you want to have an idea of what your schools are now, so that you can at least put them on the list to see what essay prompt they recommend. But in most cases, they're going to let you pick them. Okay, now I'm going to move on a little bit faster. There also is a coalition application, but we don't really use that. It's only certain schools that we apply to use that, so I'm not going to talk about that in any detail. Essays. A lot of the applications that you're going to be looking at, especially the public or state colleges, will say that the essay is optional. There's no such thing as optional, especially if you're going to be test optional. If you're going to go test optional, that college is going to need some more information about you. So an essay, letters of recommendations will allow them to be able to get some more information, okay? And then of course you want to put your resume or extracurricular activities, and I'll send you guys a link about a resume and extracurricular activity, because there's actually a section in Naviance that you can do your resume. But with your extracurricular activities in Common App, you can only put 10 in there, because sometimes I see people's resumes with like 30 activities on there. Like, seriously, when are you gonna have time to do all those things? Did you go to a meeting one time and stay for 5 minutes to say, I was in this club? They don't want any more than 10. So we're not gonna do a laundry list of activities. You're gonna pick your activities, especially if you're heavily involved in some other ones, that you want to be detailed about what you're doing. So if you're in blue and white, are you an officer? Are you on a committee? What committees were you on? How long have you been in blue and white? How often does blue and white meet? Do they meet once a week, twice a week, once a month? Do they meet, 3 hours a week? How much time have you put in? That's the kind of information that they're looking for, okay? All right, the next screen, financial aid application. Again, remember, we're going to talk about financial aid tomorrow night, okay? But your financial aid application opens up October 1st. And so there's a federal application called the FAFSA, a state application called the FIA. There's an A missing there. And then there's something called the CSS profile, which is called the College Scholarship Search, if you are applying to a private college that wants this. So there are only about 250, maybe 300 colleges that ask for the CSS profile. So most of you will never have to do that, okay? If you do have to do a CSS profile, and we can talk about these one-on-one, I would highly recommend that you do the CSS profile first, and then do your FAFSA second, because the FAFSA is probably going to ask the same questions that are on that CSS profile. You can just, copy and paste that information. Scholarship applications are always open, and that link that I put in the chat, I do have a scholarship page on my website. So if I have time at the end, I'll go through that. But most of the best scholarships that you're going to apply for are the local scholarships. They're only for Norristown people, Pennsylvania people, Montgomery County people. Those start popping up in late December, early January, and I'll email that information out every week. Definitely drop it in Schoology every week, okay? You want to make sure when you get accepted to a college, at some point, they're going to send you what's called a financial aid award letter. And basically that letter is going to say how much money the school costs, how much money in aid you're going to get from the government, how much money in aid you're going to get from the school. And then you guys kind of have to do some math and see how much you owe. You want to make sure that you get every letter from every school back before you drop a deposit, because a lot of students get excited that they got into their first choice and they go on Instagram and TikTok. They have on the t-shirt, the socks, the face tattoo, the bedspread, everything is blue and yellow. They have the pillowcases, the bumper sticker. They drop that deposit before they get that letter. And then they get the letter, and then the heartburn starts, the tears start, because in some cases, the finances might not be right. So you want to make sure that you get every letter back, and we can go through those and crunch those numbers to make sure that you're getting a good deal. Okay, so before you put all your business out there, we're going to look at those letters first. And so you guys have until May 1st to make a decision. So it used to be a universal date that every college had to stand by. But that rule changed last year. But last year, for the most part, I would say 95 to 99% of the colleges stuck by that May 1st deadline, and it will be in your letters. So please just make sure that you know that, because what's going to happen is when you get accepted, they're going to start sending you letters asking you to make a deposit, and they're going to make you feel like that money has to be dropped right now. And you have until May. So don't get caught up into that. They're going to tell you, oh, well, you're not going to pick the dorm that you want to stay in or pick your roommate and all that kind of stuff. You still have some time. Now, you may be accepted into some type of an honors program where they may have an earlier deadline. Then you have to pay attention to that. But don't get too caught up into that, okay? And make sure if you guys have any questions, make sure you drop them, because I'm going to start talking a little bit faster, okay? Fee waivers. All of you are eligible for fee waivers because we are part of the National School Lunch Program at Norristown. So most of you guys have already used them. You get 4 waivers for the ACT, 2 waivers for the SAT. You get some free test prep on both sites to help you out. Of course, you can, hire somebody if you want to, but this is the best part. If you have used a waiver for the test, or if you are part of Upward Bound, something like that, then it's pretty much going to waive all of your application fees too. That's how you're able to apply to more than 2 or 3 schools. It's very rare that you cannot, that you can apply to a place and they're not going to honor a waiver. Just let us know. We have some other ways that we can kind of get you guys a waiver. But in most cases, either the college is going to have it free on their website, or you just get the waiver free because you are, you get the waiver through the school lunch program. All right. Ching, ching, lots of money. Okay, so we talked about the SAT and the ACT. There's a website called fairtest.org where you can go and find every college in the United States that is test optional. Now, most of you guys have been hearing about test optional because of COVID, but there are a number of colleges that were test optional way before COVID came out, some for like 15, 20 years. So you can go there. It's going to put the list for you in alphabetical order. You can do it by state. You can do it by school, et cetera, et cetera. It's a really cool website. Okay. We talked about the SAT and the ACT, and I told you guys not to put on the application that you're going to send your scores at that time. You can send them later. Now, some people may tell you, especially some older siblings, that you only have 4 weeks to send your scores. That rule is pretty much for people who paid for the test. But if you have a fee waiver, you have as long as you need to send those scores out. So wait until you want to send that score to a school and you send it that way, okay? All right, so here are the websites for the Common App. So there's the link for the Common App. Also, some of you may be applying to some HBCUs or historically Black colleges and universities. And so the HBCUs also have a website there where if you pay the application fee, I think it's $20, you can apply to all 65 schools on their list. So you do not have to be an African-American student to apply to a historically Black college or university. It's just simply their historically Black college university, because when colleges were started in the early 1800s or whenever they were, African-American students could not go to colleges. So colleges, some people started creating some colleges so that African-American students could go there. And they've been popular ever since, all right? So you have, again, the Common App, and again, this coalition one, you probably will rarely use that, but there's the link for that as well. Okay, I see something in the chat. Which selection from the drop-down menu do we choose on the Common App to get the fee waiver? None apply, just the school or free lunch program. Okay, that's a great question too. So when you guys go into the Common App, they have changed it. So I just watched the video last week. There is a question in there that asks you if you're eligible for a fee waiver. You're going to say yes. And then what's going to happen on our end, once you have already connected your Common App account to your Naviance account, and when I finish this, I'll show you where all the videos, there's a video that shows you how to do that. Your counselor will release your fee waiver if you did it on the Common App, okay? So just remind your counselor, can you please load my fee waiver for me on the Common App, okay? And we can do it that way. All right, these are your application deadlines or timelines. So for the old people who are on here, i.e. your parents and Miss Salazar and me, when we were in high school, you filled out one application, maybe two, and you had one deadline. Now the colleges want to do too much and have all these deadlines in here, okay? So these are what these things mean, because you'll see these in the literature. Rolling admission mainly means that they'll just keep accepting applications until they fill up. Those are predominantly public or state colleges. Regular deadline means that their deadline is going to be January 15th or February 1st, February 15th, March 1st, March 15th, okay? Early action, or EA, means that you're going to apply to the school early and you'll get some type of an acceptance around December. And you don't have to commit to that particular school at all. You're just applying early with a better applicant pool, and you'll find out early, but you don't have to make a commitment. Early decision means that you're going to apply early, either November 1st, November 15th, December 1st, and then you're going to get an early decision in December, around December 1st, but it's a binding commitment. So if you are accepted early decision, that also means that you're expected to go, because in that case, you're also going to be filling out your financial aid application early. We usually do not recommend that our students go early decision, because our school is 75% free or reduced lunch, and you really just don't want to take that chance without reviewing all the financial aid packages. However, if you want to go early decision, nobody's going to stop you. And then your finances may be that doesn't apply to you, and you do have the finances to accept whatever package that they give you. But you won't be applying early decision by mistake, because that's something that your counselor has to check off on and have a conversation with you. Your parent has to check off, and you have to check off. So it won't happen by accident. Sometimes you may see that a college has something called early decision 2. And so now they're trying to be slick. So let me give you the T on early decision 2. Some colleges, after early decision 1, they still need some more applicants. So they wait until some students that apply early decision 1 didn't get accepted to those other schools, and now they're trying to get these leftovers, the scraps. And so that's why they have an early decision 2, which is about 15 days after early decision 1. But not a lot of schools do early decision 2, okay? Then the last one are your specialty deadlines. So even though we kind of gave you a target of Thanksgiving, Some programs require that your application goes in early, like the end of September or October or November. So nursing is very competitive. It's been competitive forever. Some engineering programs may want you to go earlier. So that's the other reason why you want to try to get your top choices in now, just so that you can see what major you want to go into and see if there's an early deadline for that. Okay. So I know I just said a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm going to pause for a second and see if you guys have any questions, to drop them in the chat, because I'm almost close to the question and answer session. I want to make sure that I got through all my slides. Okay. And again, you guys are going to get this recording. All right. This is review from our last session. And these next couple of slides, I'm probably going to skip through because they were on the recording from last time, so you can see this in more detail. But basically, when you're doing your 6 to 12 schools, you want to do 1 to 2 reach schools. Those are your top choices, but less likely to be accepted. You want to do 2 to 4 target schools. They met your needs and wishes, and you would be happy to attend. And 1 to 3 safety schools that you have a little chance of rejection. So you want to do a mix of state, private, and community college, okay? So don't have all private schools on your list. Don't have all public schools on your list. Don't have all highly selective, meaning that, those schools are 5, 10, 15% acceptance rate. You want to put a little bit of everything there. And you also want to put 1 or 2 colleges that you can commute to, meaning that you can get there in 30 to 45 minutes. Because sometimes what happens is, after you do your financial aid and you do the math, you may still owe $13,000 or $15,000, and after you crunch the numbers, you just can't do it. But if you commute, then you're taking off the room and board, and that's how much room and board is, between $10,000 and $18,000, but it's usually around $12,000, $13,000, $15,000 for room and board. So that's why we always say to put at least 2 of those schools that you can commute to there. Okay. This is on the last presentation, so I'm just going to go through here quickly. If you want to take a picture of this, this just gives you an idea of averages that they're looking for, and an average of how much the tuition, room and board is. So of course, the public is the least expensive. State related is in the middle. Private is more expensive. However, just like we said on the last video, if you see the school costs $70,000, don't take it off the list because it appears to be too expensive, because the colleges that are private, they have more scholarship money to give out. And I have seen a number of situations where a student actually was able to afford the private school and not afford the public school because they give out less money because their tuition is lower. So again, the video that we did last time, it gives that in more detail. Okay. Community college to go to Montco is going to be about $6,000 a year, and then Trader Technical School, it may vary. Here are some tips. You want to make sure when you go to your college fairs, college visits, that you have a copy of your transcript. So even though I told you guys we won't upload and send off transcripts to colleges, you can still email me to get a copy of your transcript. 1, just so you can have it, and number 2, so that you can have it for your common application, because you do have to type that information in. Okay. You want to make sure that you continue taking your honors and AP courses, and we talked about all of this actually on the last presentation, but you want to make sure that your transcript is consistent with what you have had in grades 9, 10, and 11. So don't do all these AP and weighted honors classes in 9, 10, and 11, and then in 12th grade come in and take lunch every period. It's not going to work for you. You want to make sure that you remain competitive, okay? If you are a student athlete and you want to play Division I or Division II sports, you want to make sure that you go to the NCAA Eligibility Center and fill out the application there. If you play any AAU or any kind of soccer program or football program outside of school, they're going to ask you for specific dates and times and coaches and all those things. So you want to make sure you fill that out. And then when you're done, email me. I will upload your transcript, and I will also upload your a fee for that, because I think there's a $75 fee. So you'll also get a fee waiver for that as well. So if anybody's looking at you, they can't really do much if this application is not done. Okay. And I'm done. So again, here's the screenshot to the senior survey, but I gave you guys that link, okay? So now we're gonna do any questions that you may have. All right, and I'm gonna stop sharing. And at this point, because I know I did a lot, you guys can unmute yourself or drop the questions in the chat. This is the first time I finished on time. In the time that I set for myself, rather. All right, so I know y'all have some questions. So again, we're gonna take that deep breath again. We're gonna exhale, everything's gonna be fine. I know it was a lot of information, but as long as you just start working a little bit ahead of time, you will totally be fine. So what questions do you guys have? No questions?
Yes, hi, I have one.
Okay, okay.
My son is a basketball athlete, so you said for the NCAA application, do he go to you first to waive it and then fill out the application? I'm assuming, or
No, he's gonna fill out the application first.
oh,
Let me get that let me give you that link and put that in the chat. Hold on a second.
thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So anyone who's going to be doing sports, you're going to go to the Eligibility Center, fill out that application, because I'm not able to put the waiver in there until I know what your ID number is. And then it usually, so sometimes it takes a couple of days for it to process in the system, but at least it will give you the ID number. And then you can at least give me the ID number and I'll keep looking in there until I see the ID number. And so also with the student athletes, if you're going to go D1 or D2 specifically, you have to make sure, and I just put the link in the chat for the NCAA Eligibility Center, you have to make sure that you have a 2.3 grade point average. And it's not a 2.3 grade point average on our scale. It's a 2.3 grade point average on their scale, because what they're going to do, they're going to take the transcript and they are going to add all of the major classes like English, math, science, social studies, maybe some world language. They're not going to put any of your electives in there. They don't count. So they're going to recalculate. So unfortunately, if the better grades are with the extracurricular activities, it means that the average is going to be lower. So you want to make sure that you pay attention to that. Also, another thing, if you are D1 or D2 and you attended another school besides ours, they also want the transcript from that other school. So you need to let me know so then I can look in your record and see if we have it, and then I can submit that separately. Otherwise, we have to get in contact with that particular school that you were at and get a copy of that transcript, because even though it's on our transcript, sometimes when you go from one school to the other, they rename classes. They want to know what the original name of the class was. Okay.
Okay, I have another one for my other son. He's just a junior right now, but he is in the Gear Up program. Should he list that as one of his activities? Like, should he even be listing that?
He can, because they do a lot of trips, and I mean, this year they're going to be going to a lot of places now that we can go on field trips. So he can put that there.
Okay.
Any other questions? You can unmute yourself or you can drop them in the chat. And then if you have anything that is super personal that you don't want recorded, when we finish doing questions and answers, I'll turn the recording off, okay? Or you can put it in the chat privately to me and I won't say who it is. Okay, now I think I did a great job, but I don't think I did this good of a job that you guys don't have any questions. Or maybe you guys were in my class from last semester, so you're experts now. All right. If someone has a question, then you're going to have to unmute yourself, because since we have a little bit of time now, I'm going to show you something that I skipped because I wanted to make sure we got to your questions. Okay, here we go. All right. How do we link Naviance and the Common App together? Okay. And I have a question. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to take you guys to the common application. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Can somebody just drop in the chat, yes or no? Just one person. All right, cool. All right, so here's the common application. So what you're gonna do is if you want to know if the college that you are planning on attending or applying to is going to be in here, you literally can just type the name in here. So I'm going to just type Arcadia. All right, so you see here it says Arcadia University. So we see that Arcadia is there. I'm gonna look and see if I can find Morehouse College, which I think is in there now. I think they just got added in here last year. Maybe not. Maybe I didn't spell it right. I'll spell it correctly. There we go, Morehouse College. So we see that Morehouse College is in here as well. So you want to click in there to see if the school that you're interested in is there, okay? So you can look there. So they have all different kinds of categories here to help you maneuver through here. So they'll give you some information about why college matters, how to pay for college. This is for educators to support their students, but this is where I want you guys to spend the most of your time. Apply to college. What this page does is it gives you a tutorial on how to get through the site, okay? So it teaches you how to create your account. It tells you the steps. Oh, good, they fixed this up. To create your profile, okay? Then to add your colleges to the list, gather your requirements, and submit your applications. And the old site used to have tutorials here at the bottom that you could click on with some videos. And I don't see them anymore. Did they take them on? Maybe they're somewhere else in here. So maybe it's here, first time applicant guide. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So to gather your materials, so it tells you need a copy of your transcript, and then there's a little drop down that tells you what to do, your activities, test scores, blah, blah, blah. Create an account. So they give you information about that. And then of course they have some hyperlinks to show you some stuff. And they used to have a video in here. Adding your colleges. So I'm assuming that this is a video. Yep. Engaging your supporters. And these videos are short too. They're only like 1 to 2 minutes long. Engaging your supporters. So these are your advisors, counselors, parents, teachers. If you guys want to drop my name in here as an advisor, I can actually see what's going on in your application. And there's another button in here that I wish they wouldn't put in here. It's called Enable, so that I can actually see everything. Okay, but I can't touch anything. I can't go in and alter anything. I can't see anything. I can only just look. So what happens is you fill out this application, and then there's a section in here to answer the question that was just asked. In your profile, there's something called the FERPA. I can't remember what the acronym stands for, but basically the FERPA is kind of like giving us permission to be able to release your records. It's kind of like HIPAA when you go to the doctor's office. So FERPA, you have to fill out this little FERPA statement in there. And then what happens is after you do that, then it kind of connects your Naviance account to the Common App. Then you're going to go into your Naviance account. And when you guys are in our small groups, I'll show you how to do this. You're going to go into your Naviance account, and all you have to do, there'll be a red box that pops up when you just put in your email address and I think your birthday, and that will connect the two accounts together. So it's fairly simple. So just remember that the FERPA agreement, the college has to be on the list, and then you go into the Naviance account and connect the two together. So there's nothing that the teachers do, there's nothing that the counselors do with your Common App except look at it if you put us in there. but Naviance is what we use the majority of the time. So just remember, and I'll put this in the chat for you just in case you don't know how to find it. This is the main page that you want to use for the Common App to figure out how to use it. And of course, we'll help you with this, guys. We're not just gonna be like, I told you how to use it. I showed it to you. You know, we'll help you. Okay. All right. What other questions do you guys have? Okay. So again, I'm going to show you something else that I skipped over because I wanted to make sure I didn't run out of time. But if you have a question, you're going to have to unmute yourself. Okay. So here is the college and career website. So this is my website with information. So here on the front page, it just kind of has what I do. When you go to the second tab, the counseling office, it has all your counselors here and their grade assignments and their email addresses. So these are updated for this current year. Okay. Upcoming events. So all of those college fairs that I told you guys about are here. So college visits, the instructional video is here so that you'll know how to sign up for college visits. Here's a graphic of the national college fairs. The one I told you about is in Pennsylvania, but it shows all of the ones in the country that the NACAC organization has. And you can register right here. If you want to participate in some virtual fairs that they have, you can register here for that. All of those fairs that I had on the first 2 or 3 screens, they're all here. You can register for those down here. I took this video out, so I need to take that out. I did that this morning. And then for those of you who are interested in going to any historically Black colleges and universities, the Malcolm Bernard College Fair comes up in November. So they have a lot of colleges here. You can go to the page to check, but their registration is not open yet for individuals, but you can still go there and get information, okay? Also, here's something called the school profile. I'm gonna be updating this and loading this in the next couple of weeks. It just gives information about our school. This is what we send to colleges about our school. And to be honest, when you guys are applying to these schools, you're not competing against each other. You're actually competing against the school profile, which nobody ever talks about. Because this school profile tells the colleges what kind of school you're going to, how many students are there, how many students get free and reduced lunch, what is the ethnic breakdowns of the school, what happened during COVID, what kind of special programs do you have, what is the average SAT and ACT score of the school, how do they do grading, how many advanced placement and honors classes does the student have access to. So this part right here is mainly what they're going to be looking at. So if they see that we offer 40 AP classes and honors classes, and you only took 1 or 2, they're not really going to feel like you took advantage of what we have. Of course, there's no way you can take all of them, and they're not expecting you to take the majority of them, but they want to see what you took advantage of. So that's what they're looking at. Don't be upset if you have some C's or if you have B's on your transcript in honors or AP classes, because again, they're looking to see that you're taking chances, that you're trying to add some rigor to your schedule. And so we talked about this a lot in detail in the last presentation. Those are the things that they're looking for, okay? All right, then there's a page that says colleges that accept our students, and then here's a little turntable of the top 10 last year, and these are the schools that we were accepted to last year. The how-to videos, so this is the page that I was telling you to go to, how to sign up for a college visit, how to sign up for a national college fair, how to create a college list, and then here's some things about how to connect your Common App and Naviance account right here. But I think I need to update this link because I think they updated Naviance again this year. So I'm gonna look and I'll replace that. For you guys, this is the most important page. So when I meet with you guys in small groups, this is actually what I'm gonna go over with you. Everything that's on this page, this is our whole process, step by step. And I broke it up and put some bolds and some links in here, just so it won't be so overwhelming. But when I meet with you in small groups, I'm literally gonna go over this page right here and then answer any questions that you have. So this right here is your focus. If you want to just go through and see what you need to do. And most of what I talked about is in here. Okay. Here's some scholarships. I need to update some of the dates in here. But there's tons of scholarship links that are here. This can become very overwhelming. So to be honest, I would just float. We're going to talk about money tomorrow. I would just float in this little section right here. These are the best sites, the most popular sites, these ones right here, okay? And that's all I'm gonna go over because I don't want to stress y'all out. Probably did already, try not to. All right, are you sharing your screen? Oh no, was I not sharing my screen? You guys couldn't see anything? I thought you guys said, can you guys see my screen? I thought you could. Okay, so people saying that they can see it, so maybe you just couldn't. So I'll just put this link in here for you, where I was, Lene, and you can just go there, okay? All right, so I'm not gonna share anything else tonight because that was enough. So in summary, after everything that I said tonight, right now, between now and the next 3 weeks, the only thing I want you to focus on for right now is doing the common application, looking to see if you have 2 or 3 of your schools that are in there and start filling that out. And then putting your schools on their list and see what essay they want you to do. And if your school is not on Common App, then go to their application and go ahead and fill it out. Get to the end. If they ask for a fee waiver, just get to the end and let us know you need a fee waiver. We'll send it to them and they'll close it out. But see if there's an essay. In most cases, you're going to be able to do a personal statement. Okay. And we have some people who are going to help you guys out with your essays this year too. Okay. So out of everything that I said for right now, just focus on the common application and the essay. And also, some of you guys are in the top 5 to 10% of the class. I sent you guys an email on Monday about the Quest Bridge Scholarship Program. So if you are in the top 5 to 10%, if I met with you last December, you need to check your email because the application is open and it's due on the 27th of September. So basically what Quest Bridge is a scholarship application for students that are applying to top tier colleges that have a low acceptance rate. They have stellar grades, stellar activities, but they're low income students or first generation college students, okay? So please check your email. I'm not gonna go into detail because the majority of the students don't meet the criteria for that, all right? So any other questions before we go and stop the recording? Because I know there's some other people that have some questions that are off the recording. Going once, going twice, going 3 times. All right, well, thank you guys for coming tonight. So remember, we're going to talk about financial aid tomorrow. It's going to be the same exact Zoom link that you used today, but I will send you a reminder. Will all these materials be provided to us? Yes, I'm going to send you guys the link to the video. And I'll send you guys, after the one tomorrow, I'll send you a little handout that has everything in it. Yep. All right, so thank you guys. I'm gonna stop this recording. If anybody else wants to stick around, you can stick around. Otherwise, I'm gonna stop this recording.